Hello students, how are you? So my name is Ayushi and today I'm going to take a lecture for you on the basis of the tips how to do the 10th board examination, how to solve more and more questions, how to write the proper answers, how to score well in the 10th grade. In this session, we are not just going to understand how to write the answer, we are going to understand the board examination stimulations. So, like, I'm practicing, I'm solving the questions, I'm writing the answers, and I'm doing everything. But still, I'm not able to score well in the examinations, or I'm not able to get the proper marks in the examination. Why that is happening? Why they are cutting my half marks, and what I'm lacking? What should I do so I can get the proper answers? I can get the proper marks, and moreover, that what I'm writing, I should get the full marks for the same, and how I can prevent myself from doing any errors in the my 10th board examination. Okay, so this is the motto what we are going to cover up today. Is my screen visible to everyone? Okay. So let's understand the first and the foremost thing which I need to do when I'm doing my examination. So my examination is starting on the 21st of Feb. Your exams are starting. And after that, your science exam is on 2nd March, right? So my exam is on 2nd March. That is coming to be a Saturday. Now in your examination, you will be having A, B, C, D, E sections. So let's understand what these sections are representing. So in the first section, you will be having 20 questions and one question of each mark. In the B section, I'll be having 6 questions. There will be nearly 6 questions there of 2 marks each. Then we will be having 7 questions, 3 mark each. Then I'll be having only 3 questions, 5 mark each, and 3 questions of 4 mark each. The first and the foremost thing which you need to do, which I believe that every student should start with the D section. This is the actual section when you start the process. So it's the most easy and straightforward questions. Straight booklet questions you will finding. There will be 3 questions, one from physics, one from biology, and one for chemistry, and direct questions will be there. So let's understand that how I need to write an answer for the same when they are going to give me a question. So I'm taking one question here. This is the sample paper question. Now let's understand that they have given me this question and I wanted to solve how to write this question for a 5 mark. So in this, they have given me that zinc granule is added in the zinc sulfate, then in the copper sulfate, aluminum sulfate, and iron sulfate solution. So what will happen? And in this based question, they have given me two questions. A, in which test tube you will observe the deposition of the metal on zinc, okay, and give reason and arrange them in the order of reactivity. So I can write the answer like this. In your mind now, you should be very clear that what is the order. So you can take a simple pencil and in the side now, you can write it like this, that what is the order of the reactivity. So I know aluminium is more reactive than zinc, then you will be having iron, and then you will be having copper. So they are asking for a displacement reaction. So for first answer, how should I write it? The reaction will occur in second and fourth test tube. Reason: zinc is more reactive then copper, and iron. Now, if I write this, I'll not get 5 marks. So I need to write it in a proper way. How do I write this question? I'll give the equation reactions also. So what will happen? I'll give the simple reaction that when zinc solid react with copper sulfate solution, it will give you zinc sulfate plus copper solid. It's very important for you guys to write this portion in the in these states. So if you are using the zinc solid, they have already given you its solid and they have given you aqua solution. So write those states. If you know their color and you can write their color, that is well and good. So you can write this is a blue color solution and this is white. Or we can say it is a colorless. So here I can write this is a bronze PPT and this is transparent. This is a color change which I can see. Similarly, we can write it in the second phase. So second phase, we are having zinc is reacting with ferrous sulfate, giving you ZnSO4 aqueous plus Fe solid. And zinc, iron sulfate is your green color solution. And it will change to silver or black color, whatever you want, you can write. So this is how I'll write my first answer. Then second, arrange them in the order. So it's a direct 1 mark question, so I can directly arrange. That will be according to the reactivity series. What will be the answer? Aluminium is more reactive than zinc, is more reactive than iron, is more reactive than copper. Is it clear? So this is how I need to write the answers. And if I'll represent my answer like this, I'll get my full marks. There's one more thing. Did you observe something when I was writing the answer? When I'm writing the answer, I kept a difference in the lines. So my answer is clearly visible. See, my handwriting is not that very good. Many students have this portion that I do not have a very good handwriting. So how should I go for it? Write in between, there should be a gaps when you are writing the words. And second, when you are writing, give the line gap. So it will look more representable and more easily they can understand what you are writing. Is it clear to you? Good. Now my second tip for everyone, that is your writing should be readable. You don't want to write a beautiful handwriting. We can't do that. But your handwriting should be readable. If I'll show you, there are so many students who write good or a bad way. That is not an issue. The major issue arises that when you are writing an answer, if it is not readable, then in that case, what will happen with you guys? So see this portion. This is one of the handwriting which my student has given. Can you see? The handwriting is not that readable. So what this kinds of students can do when you are writing this, when you are having such a bad handwriting that you are not able to represent properly, you are not able to write it. You can't improve your handwriting within a month. I understand. You are more focused towards your studies. And what should you do in this process? So in this process, when your handwriting is this, write a gaps between the words. Like in the first thing, see this. If I'll increase this portion with the part here, just to see. Now it is becoming a little readable. Reproductive health is the physical, mental, and social. So I can read that word. So what does this represent? This represent that when you are keeping a gap between your words, when you are keeping the portions are difference in your handwriting, you can easily able to understand that part. So if your handwriting is like this, My suggestion to every student, write the differences in the words. A little bit more gap so it will be readable to the teacher and they will give you proper marks. Is that clear? Good. Now, there's a second thing which you need to understand about this child when he was writing. See, he write about this point that is called skin contact, then air, then water. If you have left a 1 space gap in between, so it will be look more representable. Now I'll show you the second one, that how we need to write the second type of an answers, like this one. This is the easiest way to write the answers. So when we are writing the answers, when we are doing with the questions and when we are doing with the process here, so in that case, the see, when he's writing the answers, what he was doing, he was underlining the important words. So SI unit of potential difference is volt. So he put the colons and the dash line. So it's very specifically, and everybody can see from here that what they wanted to specify in the answer. Then second line, he left a space in between and write voltmeter is a device that is always connected in a parallel in a circuit to measure the voltage. Simple answer, simple way. He was using just one single black pen, not even another pen or pencil to write the answer, but he was able to write this properly. Why? Because he was underlining everything and he was getting full marks out of it. Is it clear? Good. Now see how I can improve this portion. So if I wanted to write in this way, I can make a single line in between. So what I can do, I can just make a line like this. So this shows that my first answer is over. Now my second answer is there. Got it? Good. Now the next thing, what do we have in the questions when we are writing the answers, when we are explaining those things? That is, if I wanted to write an example in this portion, I didn't leave any line. Like now I need to write an answer that a good fuel is the one that has a high calorific value and moderately ignition temperature. Now I wanted to write an example. So there is no space left. So leave at least two line spaces. So you can easily write in between. So here, if I have left the space, I can write example. We have LPGs or CNGs, etc. Is that part clear? So the best tip when you are writing the answers, underline important words. Then after every answer, like this is my answer one and answer two, put a line here. And leave at least one space. Like this is my answer, this is my answer. So leave a space here. So I can properly write. If I, after sometimes when I wanted to read my answer, so I can write an example, whatever example I have in my mind. Leave that one line space always. Okay. Good. Now there is second thing which you see here. This part, section E. Always write which question you are writing, from which section it belongs to. It will become very easy for a teacher to check. You don't have to make the teacher suffer while checking your paper. Because when they're going to suffer while checking your paper, na, they might do certain error. It's not necessarily that they will do, but there are chances for them to check your paper and they might lack something, or they are not able to understand your words or what you're trying to say, or if it's a 3 mark question, they might give you 2 marks. So that would not happen. Just put the section there. It's not necessarily that you have to start from the first to till question number 39. No, you can start from anywhere in between. If you want, you can do section A question first, then section C question. That is not an issue. But just write the section so it will become easier for them also and better for you also to score well. Is it clear? Correct. Now, after this, the next point, what do we have is, okay, let's say I'm learning and I'm doing a question. I'm in section C. I am doing a 3 mark question. I don't know anything about that question. So, what should I do? So, don't panic. First thing, if you don't know anything, it's okay. You might know their diagram. You might know anything related to that. You know formula about that. Write that things. Whatever you know about that, write that portion. Like, let's say there is a question. A question they're asking me, metal, which is liquid at room temperature, write its reaction, write its, let's say, ore, and ore reaction with, let's say, oxygen gas. Okay. I know that liquid at room temperature is my mercury. So, first answer I know. So, how should I get the full marks? Because I don't know the ore name or the reaction according with the oxygen. So, let's see. So, what I can write the first answer, how I need to write and represent my answer to score well. So, I can write like this. Mercury is the only metal. If you write the form symbol, also write the symbol as well. Is the only metal which exists as liquid at room temperature. At room temperature. Don't write just mercury. Write the proper sentence so you can get the full marks and you can get the full answers about it. Now I don't know its ore, but I know you know any compound of mercury that will act as its ore. So let's say I know the formula mercury sulfide because I know when sulfide react with oxygen, what will happen. So I'll write HGS is solid and I can write ore here. React with oxygen gas on heating. So what it's going to produce in that process? In that process, it will give you mercury oxide plus sulfur dioxide gas. Simple. Simple, sober answer. Because I don't know the ore name, so I can write it like this. If you know the ore name, that is well and good. So you can write the ore name also. So I know this ore name, so I can write it HGSS Cinnabar mercury ore. If you don't know the name of the ore, write the IUPAC name, write the compound name. So I can write mercury sulfide. Mercury sulfide is the mercury ore. They can't cancel this part. This is absolutely correct. This is mercury sulfide only. And this is the ore also. Got it? So this is how you need to write the answer. If you don't know anything about it, don't panic. Write anything or everything about the portion which you know. Is this part clear? Good. Let's go the next portion. Then let's say that how I need to write an answer. So I have so many questions in my paper and I need to write an answer. So how should I write my answer? Should I write in a paragraph? Should I write in a points? What should I do? So one by one, we are going to see that as well. How to write an answer. Okay. So the first thing what we are going to write, first thing we are going to write about how to write an answers in the point. Answer in a point. So let's see with the question. We can take any question. Okay, let me take one. I'm starting with the most easiest question. So let's say I have this one. Tap water conduct electricity, whereas distilled water doesn't. Explain. So it is come as a 1 mark question also, and it can come as a 2 mark question also. So how will you write that answer? How will you explain this answer? So in that case, how will I write? Tap water contains ions. You can slash, you can write minerals, salts, due to which they can conduct electricity. Second, if I'll write about distilled water, see, now don't write from here. Don't do this error that I'm writing from here, distilled water. It looks very bad. Don't do that. And when your handwriting is not very good, now always leave the gap. So I'm leaving a gap and I'm writing like this. Distilled water. Okay. There's one more thing. When I'm writing the answer, sometimes I forget what I'm writing, or sometimes I make a spelling error also. So I have to understand that portion as well. So let's say distilled water I'm writing doesn't contain any iron. Therefore, so let's say I have written like this. So this is wrong. So what I need to do, just put a line here like this. Don't make it like this. Don't do that. This look very bad. Just put a line there. Just cross it. So instead of that, what we can write, doesn't contain any ions. Hence, it can't conduct electricity. Simplest way to write your answer in points. This is the best way that when you are writing the answers in the points, the person who is reading can understand that where you are highlighting your things. And in this question, what I can do, I can just highlight the words like contain ions, doesn't contain ions, ions, like that. So it will highlight those important words, and this will highlight that tap water has ions and distilled water doesn't have the ions. Is it clear? Good. Okay. After this, the next thing what do we have is, let's say I don't want to write my answer in a points. I wanted to write my answer in a paragraph. Sometimes when you are getting your biology questions, or sometimes you are getting your even chemistry questions also. So in that case, you need to write the answers in the paragraph. Don't do that. Don't write your answer in a paragraph. Because in the paragraph also, now break that content when you are writing the answers in a paragraph. How to break a paragraph, that we need to understand. So second way of writing is paragraph. So let's understand this with a question. So let's say they have given me a question about the copper sulfate is hydrous and anhydrous. Explain it with an activity. Okay, that is my question. So how will I explain this with an activity? Now the first, I'll write point back. So copper sulfate, when it is solid and anhydrous, it will be white color. And in presence of water, it will become copper sulfate dot 5H2O. Again, it remains solid. It will be blue color here. First and the foremost thing, write like this. Then my same question, how do I break this question in the different portions? First, I'll write activity. Whenever you are writing any activity, the activities always have their aim. So what my aim is? So my aim in the process is to show hydrate copper sulfate and in anhydrate copper sulfate. Hydrate and anhydrous copper sulfate are changeable or interconvertible, whatever the word they are using, exact same word I have to use here. That is my aim in the process. Then the second thing, to do this, I required some apparatus. So write that apparatus, whatever you are needing. So the apparatus which I'll be needing is like this one. So I'll write it first. I'll be needing powder copper sulfate. Second, I'll be needing water. Third, I'll be needing test tube. Fourth, burner, tripod stand, whatever you want to write. You can write every single thing. Okay. Then the next portion, what do we have is procedure. So we'll write the procedures. So what will be the procedure? Procedure, I'll take few copper sulfate and put it in the test tube, heat it, evaporate all the water, it will turn white, and then add few drops of water, it will again turn blue. So this is a paragraph I can write. But instead of writing in a paragraph, now write in the word forms or in the simple your bullet points, or you can write in the points forms. So how do I do it? So procedure first, take blue vitriol or copper sulfate. Instead of writing copper sulfate, now write it in the words. Take powder, copper sulfate, in test tube. Some students are very fancy, so you can use a fancy word also like boiling tube. There's no issue with that. If you want it to be a more delicate, you can use, take a pair of tongs and hold that test tube. And boil it till all the water evaporate. Stop. Next point. Then white color will appear. And last, add few drops of water. Blue color regains. Now observe how I have written everything in the process. First, I have given them a complete reaction. Second, I have written activity, aim, apparatus, procedure. So just by seeing that, I'll get full mark. Second important thing, which I told you initially also, that when you are doing this question, my handwriting was not good. But if you see that after every word, I have written so much space in between. What this space is indicating that now you can read my word properly. Take powder copper sulfate in test tube, or take a pair of tongs and hold test tube and boil it like that. So you can read every word of mine. Is it clear? That's really good. So this is how we need to write. And when we have done a procedure, let's write with the results also. Don't end your answer here. Write the results. You can write anything. You can write result or conclusion. Not the conclusion, observation. So what I can write on the observation: on heating, blue color disappear. On adding water, blue color appears again. Hence, conclusion. So what your aim is, you have to write hence proved. The aim is correct. Or whatever the aim is, you can write that direct aim, complete full sentence there. There's no issue with that. Understood? So this is how you need to write your answer. So this is a complete 5-mark answer, which from the paragraph I have converted into the bullet points to get and score well. And you will observe the time. In the time I have written this answer is approximately 6 to 7 minutes. So this is the time limit which you need to keep for a 5-mark answer. Within 7 to 8 minutes, max to max 10 minutes, you have to finish your 5-mark question. You don't have to take more than that time. Now, after this, the next thing what do we have is that, okay, I have a paragraph questions, I have a point questions. Now I have a difference question. Most of the students does the error in the difference question. What is the difference question? Let's take a biology question. Let's say they were asking you a difference between cerebrum and cerebellum. Third is your difference question. So always write in the two different lines. So we have cerebrum. Okay, I have written the spelling incorrectly. Don't do it incorrect. Just take a line and cut it like this. Like this. And the second is your cerebellum. And put a line in between. If you have a scale, very good. If you don't have a scale, you can use your hands. Or even you can just fold your copy and just take a line from there. So in this case, how I can write? I can write it in a very different ways. I can write on the basis of which I'm making a differences, or directly I can write it. So whenever you're writing a differences, first definition, second effect, third example. If you have, if you don't have any example, their functions or their properties. So I know that cerebrum belongs to the forebrain, and the cerebellum belongs to the hidden brain. So I can write this as my first point. It belongs to. I can write forebrain, and here, or I can say hindbrain. Clear? You see, I have written spelling incorrectly, so I just cut with a single line. Now the second point. So second point I can write about them that its main responsibility is thinking, and the second is its main responsibility is my actions, or main function is thinking. And here, don't write it from this portion. Write it here itself, in front of them. Always they should be parallel to each other. They should be not up and down. So here I can write main function is. So in the main function, it has many functions. You can, by using walking straight in a line, riding a bicycle. So all the voluntary actions they are doing. Voluntary actions like, now I can make points in this also to look it better. First, like walking. Second, swimming or riding a bicycle, like that. Is it clear? So this is my portion. So how should I write the answer, and how should I do the portion here? Now, if this is a 3 mark question with the 2 points, I will not get 3 marks. So how should I write the third point also? The third point I don't know any point now. So I have to make the point from here itself. So let's make a point. Mm. The cerebrum maintains the analytical behavior of a human, or we can say it makes the intellectual behavior of a human. Of human. That will be a point. And here I can write it as it maintains the posture of the body. Got it? So it's a simple way. Now I'll have 3 mark question, 3 points, so I'll get full mark. Got it? So if you don't know any point, now try to make it. You can make any point whatever you want by writing like this. Now, the last portion, which is majorly comes in your physics part, that is your numerical. You'll find one or the two numericals in the portion, either coming from the electricity, whether they're asking you the resistance or their voltage, or you have to find out any other portion, or they can come from your optical lenses, where they can ask you question to find the focal length or to draw the lens diagram and everything about it. So, yes, in that portion, when you are solving that things, how will you do it? So fourth part we have is numerical. Now see, how will you solve a numerical? Let's say they have given me resistance are connected in a parallel series. One is 10 and second is 15. And they were asking me the total resistance. So how will I solve? So R1, first always write what they have given you in the answer. They have given R1 is 10 ohms. R2 is 15 ohms. Asking R total question mark. Let's say in the question they have given you voltage also. Let's take voltage to be 12 volt, and they are asking current also. Given R1 and R2 are parallel. This type of a question you will find in a 3 mark questions in your paper. So how will you solve this 3 mark question? Try to draw with a small diagram here. It will look better. They are in parallel. Then you can draw it with a cell, and a key. If you can label it, well and good. Not. So I can find out 1 by r. No, if I'll write it like this, now 1 by r is equals to 1 by r1 plus 1 by r2. Okay, but how you need to write this properly? The properly is that by using this formula, instead of writing this one, how should I write it? For parallel resistance. Putting values in above formula, what do I get? 1 by r is equals to 1 upon 1 by 10 plus 1 upon 1 by 15. So we can take the average. 15 plus 10, so I'll get 25 by 150, and when I'll solve it, r is equals to 150.25. So that will be turn out to be how much? That turn out to be 6 here, right? So do that, write it in a proper way. And then in that case, I can write r is equals to 6. Put it in a square or underline it. So this is my first answer. Then second, by using, so I can use the Ohm's law. We can say V is equals to IR. So I is equals to V by R. Therefore, I is equals to voltage is 12 volt given. R is how much? 6. So it is equals to 2 ampere. So I don't need to write hence resistance is this, hence the current is this. I can just put it in a bracket, or I can put it in the circles, or I can put it in the square, so I can get the answers. And it will look representable also to write the answers. Like I'll show you the copy of one of my students. Same type of a question, but it was on a focal length they have done. Like this one. Section C, concave mirror question. The first part which was given there, and then when they were writing the answers in that case, the answers are written like this. Simple circle there, or simple square there. So they can understand that which formula they are using, and always write the formula. When you are practicing the questions at home, practice to write the formula. Don't forget to write the formula there. Is it clear? That's real nice. Do you have any queries or any questions till now about the tips which I have given you to how to improve your answers, how to score well? Any point? Okay. Now see, if you observe a thing, I didn't use the different color pens much to normal portion. And even I am showing you these files here. Those files also belongs to only single pen answer sheet. So it's not necessary that you will use blue pen, black pen, pencil. If you use, it's very good. If you don't use, don't get worried about it. Your answers, what you are writing, they should be readable, they should be understandable, and they should be presentable. That is the way you can score more in your paper. Got it? The second thing which you have to keep in mind while you are writing the answer, the person who is going to check your answer sheet now, okay, they might know the answer, but they are not giving you the marks because they know the answer. They are giving you the marks because you are writing. If you don't write properly, they will never give you marks. If you write properly, they have to give the marks. I have shown you this sheet. This student has scored 75 out of 80 on this handwriting. We were forced to give the marks because he has written every single thing which is required. The 5 mark which he lost was in the MCQs. Otherwise, he got full marks in everywhere. How to improve that portion? That improvement, you can do it by just underlining, putting the answers, putting the line after the answers, like if I'll use my blue pen and if I'll just take a line and put it like this. Now, the above portion and the down portion is separated. I don't need to write it again and again. The person doesn't need to check it again. So they have to give you marks here. So it's a 4 mark question. So I have to give you 4 marks here. Is it clear? Like this, what will happen? Or if I'll underline the important words, or if I underline their handwritings, then again, if I'm putting a line here, and you are keeping a two steps or two line in between free. So after some time when you are revising it, if you get any other example, you can write it there. Like in the air example, he has written only common flu. I have another example, COVID. So if I have another liner, so I can write it there. COVID variants also, COVID-19, COVID to 2020, like that. Okay. Yes. Do you have any question for me? Anything, any part which you don't understand? Again, I'm telling you. Now, before I again revise this part, when you are practicing the question paper at home, what you need to do? So when I'm practicing a question paper at home, we are always like writing in a proper way. There is no examination pressure. Everything we are doing is absolutely correct. We are getting 78, 79 marks out of 80. Everything was going smoothly. What happens in the examination? Sudden there was a pressure. So don't take pressure. Point number one. Point number two, your timing in which your examination is going to held is around 10:30. So sit at that time at your home and do the questions. So your brain will be active in that time. So your exam starting from the 10:30. So sit every day at 10:30 morning in your house and do the one sample paper every single day. It will help you a lot. It will help your brain to function better in that timing. Point number one. Point number two, when you are practicing a question paper, keep a time watch or stopwatch around you to notice your time. In that time period, if you are drinking, if you are watching your phone, if you are looking here and there, if somebody enters in your room, goes here and there, and you are distracted, you will be distracted in your examination hall also, because the invigilator will be moving here and there. The students might be cheating. The somebody was coming with a water or a tea for the invigilators, and you are watching them. Don't do that. Don't get yourself distracted. You have only 3 hours to give your examination. After that, they will take your paper. Is it clear? Second, when you are practicing anything and when you check your answers, find the errors where you are losing marks. I believe many of the students are making their teachers or making their parents or their siblings to check their answer sheet. So wherever you are losing your marks, just write those errors. So you will not repeat those errors in the next paper. If you are repeating the same error again and again in a paper, you need to revise that portion. Means that portion is weak for you. So you can understand that portion. Write properly. No, many students have this notation that I have learned this question 100 times. Why should I practice and write again and again? Write it. It will help your hand to remember how to frame a sentence without losing or without writing the question incorrectly, how you're able to frame given things and how you can write the proper way. Like if you can see in my complete paper, whatever I have written, I have made two, three errors. That is hidden. I have cut with a single word. So it's look normal that there is no word which is cutted here. So the person mind is very sorted and the student knows the answer. And if you want, you can use blue pen, black pen, and pens. Not more than that. Don't use any color fancy things. Just go with blue, black, or pencil. My reference to you is if you are using blue pen, it's well and good. If you are using blue and black pen, that is also well and good. Just try to keep the spaces in between the answers, leave the lines, underline everything, and after giving the points, just put a line there. Just do take a scale with you in your examination, your admit cards, and everything. So these are the basic tips which you need to follow when you are writing the answers in your paper. Now I'm waiting for your questions. Do you have any query? Do you need to ask something about or any processes that I'm losing my marks in this thing? How should I cover up or something like that? If you keep these given points in your mind, you will score well. You will get more marks in comparison to the other students. No, you don't have any doubt. Okay, so let me share you the complete answer sheet of the student. I hope this is visible. No, it's not visible. Okay, there's no issue. Yeah, now it is visible. Is it visible now to everyone? Okay. Now understand where the students has lost their marks. See, in the question number 18, if you see it very carefully, the confusion which was arise that it was 8 or 18. Write in a proper way. So I can write it like this. So it is 1, 8. It will become better for us to understand. So he got only 1 marks. Otherwise, it's a 2-mark question. He might get a 2-mark here as well. The second thing where he lost the marks was this question. He has written metals and non-metals point correctly. This is a 4-mark question, but actually I have given him 3 marks. Why? Because when you are writing the point should cancel out each other. He was not canceling out each other's point. So if you wanted to score well, write the portions carefully. And here also, in the 31st question, he lost 1 mark. This was a 3-mark question. So in that case, how he lost the marks? Because he didn't write the example. If you don't know, write the example. Do write the example if you know the answers. Yes. Now, any query which you guys have, anything you wanted to know about it. Again, I'm telling you, don't panic in the paper. If you don't know the answer, it's okay. Move on. Leave the space, move on. Then, sec point, write the space between the answers. Put a line there after every answer. If you're using single pen, no issues. If you are doing any error while the spelling or anything, just cut with a single line. Don't make it messy. The most important thing, they have given you the sheets. Use it. Write it properly, openly, so you can score well. So these are the few tips which you need to keep in mind. Anything else you wanted to like to know? Any question, any query? No, everything is clear? Okay. So on this note, we can end it here. Bye. Take care. All the best. On 2nd March, do well in your examination. They are not going to ask anything outside from the NCRT. So solve NCRT, solve your sample papers, and if you can solve the exemplars also, it will help you a lot. Write the answers properly with a clear handwriting. Should be readable. It should not be very fancy. Just readable. That would work. Okay. Bye. Take care.